10 reasons you haven't taken the Sam Christensen Workshop yet. Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Sam Christensen Studios here in Atlanta, Georgia, and be sure to check out the links in the show notes below to both our website and the LA-based website to learn more about this process. But today I want to talk about the 10 biggest reasons that actors, or really any other humans, decide not to take the Sam Christensen Workshop yet. So let's just jump right in. Number 1, you think you know yourself already. I certainly won't argue with that. Well, let me clarify. Of course you know yourself, and your core identity will not come into question in this workshop. That is what you know to be true about yourself. But the other big piece of this equation is, how does the rest of the world perceive you? Depending on your age, you may have had a lot of feedback, a ton of feedback from the world around you throughout the years and decades you've been on this planet. Enough to start generating a good picture of how you're perceived by others. And yet, time and time again, people who take this process are surprised by the results. Even people who are in their 60s and 70s. And the surprises are usually based on qualities that you thought you kept hidden, or you've worked really hard to mask, or you're just surprised people perceive that about you at all. And the kicker is, this isn't new. People have been telling you this your whole life. The problem is, when you get one comment here and one comment there spread out over years or decades, you tend to dismiss or ignore those trends in the data. And we get to the bottom of all of that in our workshop. Number 2, you've done this work before. Let's say maybe you've taken another branding workshop, whether it was live with a facilitator or it was self-guided, or maybe you've just done some exercises in an acting class, or you found some Google questionnaire online that you use to try to figure out what your brand is. Great! It's exciting that you're already interested in this work, and hopefully you did get some interesting information about yourself. However, I should note that most of the options out there, especially the cheap or free ones, do not go to the depths of this work that is necessary for you to actually know what to do with it. For instance, let's say that you're in an acting class and the teacher says, okay, everyone, look at Matt and write down 3 adjectives that you would use to describe him, or 3 characters you would see him playing. Great. Or maybe you find one of those Google questionnaires or create one yourself and send it to 100 people. Even better, because you're going to get more data. And you might see some really interesting trends in that data. But what happens when you don't like what you get back? For instance, let's say I get words like a-hole, or boring, or villain, or even worse, the type of guy I wouldn't trust with my kids. Because then I'm thinking, me? Like, you don't trust Matt? Or that's the character that I'm playing? I don't know what to do with this. So either I'm going to dismiss that information, or I'm going to let it fill me with self-doubt and possibly even self-hatred, and that leads to, well, let's not talk about that. So in our workshop, we do work similar to this in day 1 before lunch. And over the course of the rest of the 4 days, we get to the why people are seeing that about you. Why are you being perceived that way? Why does casting want to see you for certain roles? Why do they not want to see you for other roles? Why do you book certain roles? Why are you not booking other roles, etc.? So once you know the why, well, that gives you dominion over these qualities that people are perceiving about you. And once you have that, it is so empowering. It gives you the tools to move forward in your career and your life with more confidence and, dare I say, peace about your career. To have peace in my career. So that I'm not sitting around wondering why. Number 3, Sam Christensen isn't teaching it anymore. Fair point. And if you didn't know, Sam passed away suddenly in early 2019, which left a void in my life as a treasured mentor and in the lives of many others. But Sam's business partner of 30 plus years, Ken Cortland, who is still doing this process from his LA-based studio, can verify that graduates of the process now, after Sam passed away, are getting the same results and the same quality of improvement in their careers and their lives as the graduates who were able to take it with Sam and Ken before he passed. That's the brilliance of what they created. While it takes a certain personality to be able to facilitate the workshops, the work that you do personally transcends that person who is leading the workshop. And that's why we're called facilitators, because essentially we're walking alongside you in this journey towards your authenticity or discovering your identity or your brand or whatever you want to call it. Number 4, I'm too busy right now. I totally get it. But with what? If it's family, health, etc., well, great. That's a fantastic excuse to put this work off. But if it's stuff that is all in an effort to level up your career, then what are you waiting for? One of the most common reviews we get from graduates is, "Oh, I wish I had taken this sooner." Now, there is no perfect time to take this workshop, like many things in life, but we do recommend that you take it before that next set of headshots. You'll save yourself a lot of grief and money. But this workshop is appropriate for the new actor and the veteran actor, the 20-something who is still figuring out who they are, and the 70-something who is pretty set in their ways. Numbers 5 through 10. Money. Yep, this is a big one, which is why it's numbers 5 through 10. And we get it. We totally get it. And side note, I'm not mentioning the actual price in case it fluctuates from the time I recorded this video to the time you're watching this video. So check the show notes below for links to our website so that you can get the most up-to-date pricing information. But what I will say is we only require a $50 deposit to secure your spot, and the remaining balance we're more than willing to split up into 6 monthly payments with no interest added. In short, we do everything we can to make it affordable for you. But let me give you a couple more reasons why we believe this is appropriately priced. First, you're spending 4 days with us. All told, you'll spend over 20 hours on this journey. Most acting workshops charge an average of $100 or more per hour of the workshop. And so if you do the math, we're actually a lot less than that. So we think that's very cost effective. Second, and this is actually huge, we offer free follow-ups for all of our graduates forever. As of the taping of this video, we host these events virtually so that graduates from all over the world can attend. And we try to host them at least once a month. And we do try to bring in special guests every now and then, whether it be casting directors, agents, or other people in the industry. It's a way for our graduates to continually stay connected and to keep learning more about this process and how it applies to their career and their lives. Because here's the thing, for some people, this work doesn't fully manifest itself in their career or their life right away on day 4 of the workshop. It may take days, sometimes weeks or months for the full realization to hit that graduate. And so we want to be there when those light bulbs go off, or to help facilitate those light bulbs by continuing to give value month after month, year after year, so that we can keep walking with you on this journey. And that value can't be quantified, honestly. And what other workshop that you've taken stays with you forever? And what I mean is the facilitators or the teachers from that workshop provide opportunities month after month, year after year, for free to check in and make sure that you are continuing to progress. None that I've ever heard of. And the last thing I'll say in regards to the pricing being fair is that this workshop is largely comprehensive, even if you don't take advantage of the free graduate follow-ups. And what I mean by that is if you take an acting workshop on a Saturday that teaches you some tools and techniques to level up your auditions or your career, well, you're on the hook to practice those over and over again until they become second nature. And even then, you'll need to stay on top of that through the weeks, months, and years ahead. And if you don't, if you just go to the workshop and then sort of forget it, well, then it was a complete waste of time. With the Sam Christensen Workshop, one thing that is very unique is that the results are like flipping a switch in terms of understanding your authenticity. And while, like I previously mentioned, not all of the light bulbs go off at once, there is this immediate understanding of your brand, your image, your identity, your authenticity that happens somewhere during that 4 days that can create instantaneous progress in your career and your life. And it's not something you have to keep revisiting to keep understanding or to have it keep working for you. Now, to get the full benefit of the work, we do encourage you to keep exploring this. We provide you follow-up opportunities in the course materials and with our follow-ups. But even if you ignore all of that extra homework, if you will still get value from the 4 days that can't really be said about a lot of other workshops. So those are 10 reasons why you haven't taken the Sam Christensen Workshop yet. Well, I guess technically only 5, but that money one is a big obstacle for people. But hopefully through this discussion, I've eased some of those concerns. However, if you have more concerns or questions, feel free to reach out to us through the links that are in the show notes below or to leave a comment. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. And remember, just be yourself.